Hey there, it's David H. Lawrence, the 17th, and I was at a meetup the other night and I was asked a question about how to know what can I look to, what kind of things can I listen for, can I watch for to let me know that I'm nailing what I'm doing, that I'm really doing a good job of the work that I'm doing, the auditions and the production work and so on. And then in a coaching session, I got pretty much the same reason. How do I know if I'm doing a good job? And then again today, in a meeting with a client, how do I know if I'm ready to do this or to do that or to do a demo or to start putting myself out there for auditions and so on? How do I know if the work that I'm doing is competitive, is professional grade? And those are great questions. We all know how difficult it is for us to judge ourselves, but there are some things that you can start to weed out. I think it was Michelangelo that said, creating a sculpture is not about shaping the marble, it's about knowing what parts of the marble to remove to leave the art behind. And I think that's a really great way of putting things. When it comes to judging your work, and I've talked about decoupling the outcome with the actual work itself, but in the case where you really want to know whether you're doing something well or not when it comes to performing, one thing that I can tell you is that there is a single metric that I see talent using all the time that isn't a good metric to use. And that's the metric of, well, I read that perfectly. I didn't make a single mistake there. It's what I call reading words well on the page. That's not your metric for success. It's a game that we play sometimes, especially when we're doing audiobooks. Oh, I went 3 pages without making a mistake. I wonder at what point you started to think to yourself, rather than think about the story, being in the moment, you started to think to yourself, hey, I'm doing pretty good here. I haven't made a mistake in 3 pages or a page or 5 paragraphs or whatever it is, the whole chapter, who knows? But that's not something to pay attention to. And I know it's hard because it's kind of got to be proud of that. If you didn't make any pronunciation errors, you didn't stumble on any words, you got everything exactly the way you wanted it to be. But that's not your metric for success. The metric for success will vary based on what your particular challenges are. In the case of the client I was working with, we were kind of taking a look at a challenge that she had with a sing-song in her voice, in the way she would say all the sentences with the same melody. And it's a pretty common thing that people have. It's that announcery cadence that we all grow up with and we all think is the best approach to doing things, especially if you come out of radio. It's really tough. So, but that's her. You could have a different thing. You're too loud or too soft, or there's not enough delineation between a neutral narrator voice in audiobooks and a character. You can't hear that you're doing certain things. The good news with her is that she could actually hear the typical sing-song cadence of what she was doing. But then she said, well, at least I didn't make a mistake. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't want that to even enter into the equation for you. And I don't want it to enter into the equation for you either. You have no idea how many takes can be executed when shooting a film or recording, unless you've done it already and you do know. And what can happen is, if you're a stage performer or if you're live on the radio or live on television as a presenter or as a news person, you don't get a second take. And so it starts to become a metric for success for you to not make any mistakes. But don't let that slide over into the world of auditions and recorded performance, where you can take it again, you can stop and start over again. That's not a metric you need to worry about. So again, on that list of things that you should be concerned about, this ain't one of them. Just strike it off the list. Is it a metric for you? Let me know. Or let me know how you manage to remove that metric from your list. What was it for you the day you realized, I don't have to worry about it? I can make all the mistakes I want because I will be editing them out, or somebody will be editing them out, leaving behind the good stuff. So, or do you still think to yourself, I really need to get this whole thing nailed down and make no mistakes on this page? Leave me a comment, especially if you're on vo2gogo.com. I'm really excited to hear what you have to say. And that's where the conversation really happens, where it's nice and sane and moderated at vo2gogo.com. And if you'd like to join my mailing list, I would love to have you. If you look below this video, there's a subscribe link that will let you fill out a form, and you'll know when these videos come out. If you'd like to know when the latest video that I've done has been released, well, go ahead and click on that frame there, and YouTube will play it for you. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. I thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow.